thank you to all the participants for joining me this evening. And I think the fact that you chose to join me over the subject of empowerment and Women's Day around the corner, I guess there is a lot which can be shared today and learned from each other. So I'm looking at experiencing, sharing my experiences, but also listening to yours. And to start with, I think I would like to once again thank Shenzyn for what they're trying to do. I guess when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, all of us have a role to play. We all got to contribute to bring the efforts that the whole world is making towards being more diverse, equal, and inclusive. So thanks, Team Shenzyn. Thanks, Murli. Thanks, Kushbu, for doing that. For doing whatever you guys are doing in terms of making the world more diverse and doing your bit. Today, I'm going to be doing my bit about in terms of bringing attention to the subject of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and how women can empower each other, and how we can help each other to be more successful, to be more glorious, to be more nourished in all senses. And I think I'm going to be taking some 30-40 minutes to and and to set the expectation clear. I don't think I'm going to be telling you anything which you already don't know, but what I'm aiming to do is to remind you everything that you know about empowerment, and how you can empower yourselves, and how you can help and empower women and colleagues and friends, and irrespective of the gender, but everybody who is around you. To start with, I was just thinking about this whole empowerment piece, and there's this one incident which I really wanted to share with the audience today, with the participants today. To I believe that is a good example of how one can empower their own selves, and how all of us have a role to play when it comes to empowering other women. So I would like to start with a small story, with a small personal story here, and that goes back around 12, 13 years ago. And that was the time when I had moved into a new house for which I had done interiors. I mean, whatever senses I had, and the curtains, the upholstery, and the wardrobes, and the overall woodwork that one would imagine with a house. And as we started living there, I had friends and cousins visiting, and everybody complimented for how the house was, and how the the rooms were done, how the kitchen was done, and a lot of everything about the aesthetics, and a lot more. But one compliment which is very which is still very close to my heart, and which really made me realize about my own power, and how I need to really come out of my own shell. So this one fine day, my cousin visited me, and of course she went around the house, and she said, yes, it is nice. And then she sits on the couch and she tells me, this house is so you. This house is all about you. And I think that was the best compliment that I had got for that house, and for whatever that I had done. Now, to tell you a little more background, I'm someone who doesn't have an aesthetic sense at all. I'm very, very functional. So doing something about interiors, or doing anything about to do with beauty and set things in an order is not my area of strength. But then when my cousin complimented me about doing that, what I had done with that house, and told me that, this house is you, and that's why it is beautiful. So with that analogy, I want to remind all of you that if all of us do these things, right, in our lives, we make things beautiful. We try to make them more part of our lives. We try to bring things to life. We enlighten each other with a lot of stuff that we do, and that's part of our that's part of the day-to-day life. We don't even probably realize it. And with that, but with that analogy, and with the same house analogy, I thought that today I would remind you that if the houses that we do, the way that we take care of things, the way that we add our touch to things to make them more beautiful, and make them part of our own lives, we can do the same to our life also. And by life, I mean whether you mean whether you want to relate it to your professional life, your personal life, or your academic life, anything that you're doing, you have the power to make it beautiful, and it would be more beautiful if it is you, if it has the you element in it. So please go out and try things that that you are maybe a little hesitant or maybe are not very sure of, but I think you can do that, and you would find people who would remind you that you can do that. Sometimes we are too cautious of trying new things because we fear failure, and that's very human. That's all of us fear failure. That's perfectly all right. But it is about going out and trying, and and I would again give the same example, that I'm someone who just does not have an aesthetic sense at all. I'm very, very functional. If you'll ask me to pick a chair, I would just find something which has a good backrest and a good handrest, and just nothing beyond that. But if I could do things which could make look which could look beautiful, and which could make a house look more beautiful, and something that was not my area of strength at all, it became my strength because I was myself. I was doing, I was adding my magic to whatever I was doing. And I think all of you and everybody around you has their own magic. All you need to do is remind yourselves that you've got magic, and remind others that they have got magic. So that's the little story I wanted to start with, and I hope that it reminded you of some of the instances in your own life when you had the opportunity to add magic to your to your surroundings, to the things that you are doing. So please go ahead and try again. If you don't hold yourselves, and if you feel that there is someone who is holding themselves, please remind them to not hold, to go out and try again. So that's my little story I wanted to start with. I do have a little bit of notes just so that I don't get off track. I guess, with that, I also wanted to, with this whole Women's Day around, I guess all of us get reminded of the time when we were hoping to get help, when we were expecting a little bit help from somebody, and we did not get it. It could again be at workplaces, it could be at home, it could be during your academic years. But I want you to think about that one instance, or those few instances when you felt that you did not get help, and I want you to use that instance as an inspiration to help others, because all of us, as I said at the beginning, I think all of us have a role to play in making things better, and making things, especially from a diversity perspective. When today, I think over the next few days we'll read a lot of stories in newspaper and in TV shows about how so many women leaders have gone up the ladder, and what their struggles were, what their challenges were, and how they overcame them. And one thing which I have found over the years consistent is that a lot of them felt that they were not supported during their career journey or academics, but they overcame them. And one thing that they want all the aspiring women, and I want all of you here to remember, is that we all can do better, we all can help each other, and we all have a role to play in each other's success. As Khushbu said, something which I strongly believe in, that no one is self-made or made man or woman. I think we all are shaped by the experiences that life throws at us, and the learnings that we get out of those experiences. And um, I think it's really important to keep reminding ourselves that we need to be the change that we want to see. So if you want to see that more women or more um, underprivileged groups, or if you want to see that change come into action, you have to start somewhere. You have to take part in that story. You have to probably take one step, even if it is a small. Please do your bit. Please do your bit. And that's how empowerment journey would start, for the societies, for the communities, for the people that we that we live with, for the organizations that we are associated with, for the for all the groups. In all those groups, I think the empowerment is only possible when we all take steps in making each other empowered. And then please keep referring to your own experiences. As I said, that one little thing, I know it's very common. I think all of us experience it at some or the other time, and it is about doing. And I'm I was a little cautious when I was giving this example, that I'm quoting something from my personal life, quoting something which is such a household thing, which is so housewifey for that matter. But that's what experiences are, I think. um, as mothers, as caregivers, there are so many things that we juggle, that we have to multitask, and we have to really just keep going. So all those experiences do make us a more strong individual, and a more strong woman for that matter. And I would want you to feel proud about all the experiences that you have had over in your life so far, and welcome experiences in your life. So that's my little piece around empowerment. And before I move on to next thing, or before I share another story, I would like to hear if there are any stories that you guys want to share, or if you have any experiences to talk about, something which can really ignite more conversations on the same subject. Khushbu, do we have something?
Nothing from the audience, Parul, but then I have a comment to make, more rather a compliment for you. You brought about the concept of housewife, which I found it very relevant, because somewhere we do not join corporate world in the first go. It's what we grow with our mother. And I would say my mother is a house homemaker, and I have learned so many things from her. And being a management student, also, a housewife manages so many things so well, maybe financial things, you say HR related, although they have not segregated themselves, but they have been doing that. So I really appreciate that you brought this housewifey thing in your conversation, and that's really relatable. I hope the audience also is finding it relatable.
I do hope that. I do hope that the audience is finding it relatable, and that's the second thing I wanted to move to Khushbu. That in just because someone chose to prioritize their house responsibilities, or there was something more in their life to take care of, that doesn't make you less of a person or less of a corporate for that matter. I think we all have our own journeys, and just the other day, I think I was reading somewhere that being corporate doesn't mean that you need to wear a certain set of clothing, or you need to speak in a certain set of way. I think being corporate just means that you are reliable, you are consistent, and you are skilled. And that's what I think should be the definition of corporate. And that's the definition which needs to be promoted. So define and promote corporate in the way you think um, you are adding value. So it's about really being adding value also to some extent. And as I said, about a little around priority, and how one can move forward in life. I think as women, we always have so many things going around, so many things to take care of, as caregivers, as the house responsibilities most of the time don't go anywhere. So you continue to be a working woman, you continue to be a working mother, and then there are so many things that one has to manage. So how do you prioritize? What do you choose over what? Yeah. It is, and you know it is about you. So keep when you have to make a choice, think what is aligning with your, as cliched as it may sound, with your long term goals. What is it that you really want to do in life? All of us are magical in our own ways, and it is you are totally empowered to choose the magic you want to carry forward, and to take forward, and to let others know, and to sprinkle the magic forward. So when it comes to prioritizing, the first thing that I would like to suggest is try to choose what you think is going to be a long-term addition um, in your life. So that's one. Secondly, I would also say that try to think in the context of things. When you have to prioritize, try to think in the context. So we all know that we need to take care of our health. We all know that we need to do well at work. We all know that we need to take care, if some of us are taking care of home, then we need to do that as well. We need to take care of the kids, and then there is this long list of things that we need to take care of. And how do you then prioritize when you have to pick and choose? You need to prioritize things which in my experience, and something which has helped me is to prioritize things that are right in that context. You are not omnipresent. You cannot be everywhere, so you have to choose where you are really really needed. And sometimes these choices are going to be difficult. You'll have to pick one over the other, but then you have to really see what is it that is adding more to your life in the long run. So that's what I think I would like to say around and tell you about the prioritize and word and the magic around it. Next, I think, unless we have any questions, I can keep talking.
Uh, Parul, just one question again from my side. You talked about
Sure.
omnipresence and making choices. And not a question, just I'm trying to build up a conversation with you. The career 2.0 maybe comes because of that. The women who prioritize their family or a career at some point of time, and then they're looking forward again to join somewhere, again into
Mhm.
stepping into the corporate world. I think how difficult is it for any woman to again move back to the corporate world after having made a choice before for the family?
um I think realistically, it 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 is a little challenging. I would not say it is difficult. I think it really tests you as an individual, because again, first, people lose touch with what they were doing earlier. So when you really want to get back to work, I think you need to start preparing yourself in terms of what could be needed to be in the current workforce or in the current environment, which what kind of skills would be needed, and start getting mentally ready that there are times when you will have to choose between things, and some choices would be difficult between, when it comes to like real time scenarios. So that mental makeup of getting ready for something which is going to challenge you is really really important. That's on the internal side. On the external side, I think there are a lot of organizations which are getting to which welcome women after a break. There are a lot of programs which get launched in around Women's Day and over the year, and throughout the year in various organizations. So please keep an eye on the kind of organizations that you aspire to be part of, and if they have any programs. Uh, Also, I think one very important aspect of getting back to work and after a break is to really find a mentor for yourself, and somebody who could probably coach you, somebody who could probably uh, guide you and prepare you for what you could be, what you could come across when you are back at work, or when you're preparing to get back at work. I think having mentors and coaches is really really important, and it's not that they have any magic wand and they're going to give you the solutions for everything, but having a sounding board, somebody who you can be open about, someone who you can share all that you're experiencing, and someone who can guide you through those experiences is very very important. So that's I think we have a question.
Yes. So the question is from Ankita. She asked about prioritizing. Can you give us any examples from your life or someone you know as to how to be aligned to long-term goals and prioritize accordingly? Also, any methods and tools that we can use to prioritize in a better way?
Okay, so prioritizing, or in your personal life, is gonna be your game. I mean, any example I think would not do justice to what you might be trying to do in your life. But think of what really gives you happiness, what really, and this is again something which women really ignore, and they neglect, that their happiness is as much as important, in the overall scheme of things. They are just always busy trying to make things work, and making everybody around them happy, but not them. So this, think about what is really going to be making you happy, Ankita, in the long run, and how, and be ready for diversions. We always face challenges and we come across surprises. When was it that we really thought about something and it came as is? It rarely happens. So while you're planning that there is something that you want to achieve, please make sure that the purpose of whatever you're planning to achieve, or whatever you're trying to achieve, the purpose somewhere aligns with your own happiness. Or or do a good self check, look within, that am I really doing this for myself, or am I doing this for people around me? Is it really going to be making me happy, or is it going to be making others around me happy? So that would give you a certain level of a clarity and a fuel, a little bit of fuel to go ahead, and be ready for challenges. But nothing ever, at least in my life, I don't think I ever had anything smooth or served on a plate. I always had to fight and struggle, and all of us have our own journeys, and I don't complain about it. I guess that's what makes us, um, whatever we are. So and that takes me back to the fact that our experiences shape us, our experiences make us what we are, and they make us even ready for the future. So I'm truly thankful for all the things that I've experienced. I think they have made me what I am. And when it is about you, please try to really see what makes you happy and do things, align things, at least center. The center of things should be your happiness, should be something that you want to do in your life, and should be something which is attached to your purpose in life. And this was also something which I really wanted to remind, and to the audience today is, and again, something funny or something rather on a lighter note, I read somewhere that, um, we all need to know our calling, by calling, our own strengths and what we are here for, and what is the purpose of our life, what is it that we really want to do, and what is it that really makes us happy. uh, and and it takes really slowing down. You need to slow down to really come to terms with, or to analyze, or to figure out what really makes you happy, and what is your calling, what is it that you would like to do in the long run, what is it that would make you happy in the long run. So that's something, again, I guess I would urge all the audience to think about, that what makes them happy, what is their calling, what is their purpose, because that is their magic. That is your magic. Your calling is your magic. And yeah, I forgot to mention the funny thing that I read is that, your calling is your calling. It was not supposed to be a conference call. So don't expect others to tell you what your calling is, or what your, strengths. Fine, yes, a lot of people can tell you what your strengths are, but what you truly want to do, what you truly, you know, want to achieve in life, and what is your purpose is your calling. What is it that God made you for? What is it, that magical thing you have in yourselves? So that's something which you need to figure out. And I hope I answered your question, Ankita. Okay, thank you. All right. Any other questions? I was hoping for it to be a little more interactive, but it looks like I'm the only one who's going to be talking. So I would really, I would be happy if somebody wants to ask, maybe not only on chat, if either ways you want to ask any more questions or share experiences, because stories are important. Stories and experiences are important in life. They are like those case studies that we study in our books. So don't underestimate the stories. Share and learn from each other. Any more stories? Any more experiences?
I don't see anything right now, Parul. Maybe towards the end,
Okay.
we'll have the
Okay.
open.
Sure. A few more things that I had, I'm referring to my notes first of all. Yeah. So which I had thought that I'll speak and I'll share with the audience today was, um, was again around how one needs to find their own calling and how one needs to sometimes enable others to help them find their own calling, because once you try to once you really realize that that's what your calling is, I guess you have a more clear way of trying to achieve that, because if you don't even know what you're trying to achieve, how would you even go about it? So once you know that this is what your calling is, you really need to chase it and make sure that you are giving others, um, you're helping others through your own calling. You should just you should just really unleash the power that you have within yourselves, and help others to to realize their power also. So that's something, again, I was hoping that I'll tell you guys. The other thing that I wanted to talk about was, helping, and how you can of course, empowering, but uh, I would refer to something which I read a few days ago, and again, it is not a few days ago, I guess quite a few months ago, but it remains my favorite. And this is a question for the audience, all right? And I would expect some answers. So I read that the world would have been a better place if those three words were said more often. And I want the audience to guess that what those three words could be. Okay, love is letter. Okay, yeah, word. Okay, thank you, sorry. Okay, all right, thank you. Yeah, so those three words. I'm looking for three words. Gratitude is one word. Okay, yeah, good enough. Well, these are very common three words. They should have, you know, if there is anyone who is in 90s, should really, who was born after 90s, maybe should be really able to guess. Butterflies in the stomach. That's the three words am I talking about. Anybody wants to take a guess now? No? Okay, I'll give clues now. Okay, the first one is I. There are two more words. And this is very relevant. All right, I'm not trying to do um, a quiz. I love myself. Yes, that's good. That's good. Thank you, Arvind, for sharing that. I guess those are not the three words I was looking for, but these are equally important. I love myself. Saying this sometimes, um, not sometimes. I guess this is all we all need to remind ourselves that um, we cannot love others, or we cannot take care of others if we don't take care of ourselves. And you know, you cannot. I have this glass of water here, and you cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot pour from an empty glass. And I'm sure you would have heard this, but if this glass is you, if it doesn't have any water or any love in it, I mean, how would it serve love or care or kindness to anybody else? So if you feel that your glass is, or your tank is getting empty, you got to fill it. Yeah, so Arvind, that was great, but those are not the three words that I was looking for. So we are saying the 3 words that can make the world a better place. Or if those 3 words were used more often, they would make the world a better place. And I still want to hear a few more tries. I appreciate it. Yes, I appreciate it. Thanking others. Yes, for whatever they've done. Yes. Close enough, but not the ones that I was looking for. I really want to turn into a school teacher and pick names here. Can I do that, Ankita? No, Kushbu? Can I do that? No.
Not sure. I'm not sure.
Okay, so I'll not pick names, but
That.
I'll wait for 1 more minute and see if there's anybody else who wants to try. Okay, so I gave you a clue. The first word is I. The second word has 4 letters to it. Yeah, 4 letters. Butterflies in the stomach, still no. I like, yes, no, I mean, from the butterflies in the stomach was only to confuse you guys. That was a false clue. I care. Yeah, that's good, but that's not what I was looking for. I will. Okay, I like it. Yeah, I will. Yeah, but I like it, and I'm very thankful that you brought this, Anupama. But this is not the answer. Okay, okay, I'll not test your patience. Okay, so there is I love you. Yes, Ankita, you are close. This was the butterflies in the stomach statement, but that's not, as I said, I was just trying to confuse you guys. That's not the answer that I was looking for. Okay, so the word would have been a better place if those 3 words were said more often. And those 3 words are I need help. Oh, brilliant. Someone was very close. Chitralekha, yes, I need help are the magical 3 words that you need to say and say it more often, because we as human beings, as social animals, we were never designed to deal with things alone. We were always designed to deal with things collectively, as a group, as a team. So if you feel that you're dealing with something, if you feel that there's something which you need to manage and it is not going as you wanted it to be and you need help, sorry, you got to ask for help. And help would appear. Help, I wish I could say that I can guarantee, but I can tell you that help would appear. So please, when you're dealing with something, try to ask for help. Do not hesitate. Do not hesitate. you know Friends, family, colleagues, please try to ask for help. We were not meant to be dealing with things alone. We are not meant to be dealing with things alone. So please go ahead and ask for help when you feel that things are not going your way, or when you feel that this is over and above your threshold, or when you feel that you don't know what to do, or when you're not able to feel anything at all, when you just confused, when you are just not sure. So please do that and make that this word a better place. So those were the 3 magical words, and I guess that's all I had from my side for today. And now I was really hoping to hear more experiences and more stories, but I see that we have a very quiet audience, so I'll look forward to the chat window if there is anything there. Okay. Not much, maybe. No. No questions, Khushbu. I don't see them.
I have something to ask, Parul. You
Sure.
talked about asking for help.
Yeah.
Sometimes we feel guilty or we do not know whom to approach. So this mainly happens in the family. When it happens, we know we can reach out to our parents or to our siblings or to our friend. But then
Mm-hmm.
when it happens in the set of in a corporate life,
Mm-hmm.
are there any committees or any body which are there to be there to listen to us or help us out?
Yeah, great question. Great question, Khushbu. I think every organization, from what I'm hearing these days and what I know within the HR fraternity, that a lot of organizations these days are trying to create these support groups, which are these informal groups. There is no standard format, or there is, that if you need to ask help, you just go and ask help. You just share your story, and you say that this is where you need help. So that's one thing which I see that a lot of organizations are trying to do. Secondly, if you do not have a group or a body in the organization as support group, I think all of us have our family and friends and colleagues and you know folks at work. So if you will have to filter out a little bit when it is about really asking for help. um, and yeah, trust is an important thing. When you whoever you choose to ask for help, your gut will tell you whether you can trust that person or not. And my only, I think my personal advice would be to really make sure that whosoever you are sharing with is someone you are comfortable sharing that amount of information, and someone who you trust, someone who you can go and tell things, and are sure that all you would get is a listening ear and probably some solutions and maybe some direction. But you need to trust that person. You should be able to trust that person. Do not go and you know ask random folks for help. I think you should only be asking for help if you trust an individual. And uh, and those are personal relationships, even if it is your friend or it is your colleague. I think that the relationship that you have with that individual, and the kind of trust that you have in that relationship, needs to be tested before you share something or ask for help. So that's what I would say. I did see something in the chat window, and I think I missed it. What was it?
Yes, there was a question regarding the confidentiality when we are sharing. I assume that was the intention of asking.
Okay. So, Arvind, I hope that I answered your question, that you need to trust somebody before you ask for you know help. The person should be trustworthy, and someone who can and help. Help doesn't always mean that someone would give you a solution. Sometimes just a listening ear can make your mind clutter free, and you yourself can find the solution. So as long as you trust the individual, I think go ahead and give it a try.
Hello. Hey, can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
you're audible.
Hey, hi. I had a
Hi.
question. Actually,
Yeah.
very interesting webinar. I'm actually enjoying every piece of information that you're giving me. Not that, something that we didn't know about, but as you rightly mentioned, a reminder is something that's really helping me. So
Thank
I
you.
had one question about, the entire calling thing that you mentioned. That, in the last 1 year, and it's more from like the corporate point of view, and
Mm-hmm.
since you're the HR director, I think you have like a upper eye, then you can tell us things which we may not be knowing at this stage. But
Mm-hmm.
last year, what ended up happening is, everyone started working from home, and along with work, they kind of realized that, we can indulge ourselves into, different kind of programs, different kind of learning sessions, or just, as we rightly mentioned, that, find that calling and, run and try to achieve that calling, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But all the women, I think, for example, if we have like a full-time job and we have responsibilities at home and all, ultimately in our priority list, things that we have to do for ourselves kind of take a back step, and we kind of keep on, finishing the task list that we have been assigned to do, right? So now
Mm-hmm.
this year I see that, people are kind of going back to offices and things are getting back to normal. But some I mean, for people like us, we are still thinking that, if we are able to manage work by, staying at home and still pursuing things that, are actually making us happy and making us reach our goals, or, reach our calling a little faster. So can are the corporates also thinking like this, in terms of flexibility, in terms of introducing or starting something in the offices which will kind of empower women in the way that, understanding their calling and, giving more time and flexibility for them? Like, is there like a plan that corporates are thinking of, RHRs thinking about it? Can we see some things like this coming in the near future? Like, the power of flexibility is something that all of us are experiencing right now. So can it be the future as well?
Sure. I think, I'm sorry, I didn't get your name, Khushbu.
I'm Ankita.
Okay, Ankita.
Yeah.
Ankita, great question, first of all. And, thank you for raising this, because I think some, I guess a lot of folks in the audience might be thinking on the same lines. And so, and thank you for articulating it so well. So to firstly and foremost, as you mentioned that are HR folks thinking about something which can provide flexibility and which can help women find their calling? So one is yes, and I'm not saying this only from an HR perspective. I think it is about the overall how the organizations overall are trying to really leverage the power that women bring and the diverse perspective that they bring.
Right.
So it's not only from empowering women perspective, but it is empowering diversity perspective. And I'll tell you the difference in that. All the experiences that you bring onto the table, Ankita, are your experiences. They are not like anyone else's experiences. So that is a diverse experience, which I think many organizations want to leverage upon. And it could be coming from any background. So yes, there are, I can, from whatever I'm hearing in the HR fraternity, there is, uh, you know, things are moving in the right direction, but organizations also have, their own limitations. There could be logistical issues. There could be issues in terms of, how do we execute things. So all, I would say that at a personal level and at an individual level, organizations can provide you platforms. They can tell you that, okay, we have these many programs and this is the kind of support we are going to be providing to our women workforce. But it is the individual's responsibility to really leverage that platform and run on it. If you are trying to, as I said, the funny example that I gave, that your calling is your calling. It is not a conference call. It is, people can provide you platforms, and then it is you who needs to jump on that platform and start running. So how do you jump on that platform is that you need to find your own ecosystem. You need to find your own support groups. You need to find, and by support group, I don't mean that people, you call only when you're stressed, but support groups are people who you can call or get in touch with for just being a sounding board. If you're not sure of something, you go out to the group and you talk about, that these are the things that I'm trying to do. So that's how you probably jump. And going back to what the organizations and what the HR fraternity is trying to do is, of course, trying to create a platform, create an equal platform for every individual to flourish in their careers. And I'm not sure if that can help people find their calling, because that would probably still remain the individual's responsibility and it would be their own path. They will have to step onto their own path, but they are trying to build platforms which can help individuals. At the same time, they're also trying, and again, I would like to thank Murli and Kushbu and Team Shenzyn, that the fact that they got me here, and there are many other women, they are trying to get on board and trying to organize these webinars, and asking us to speak on topics and speak on subjects which are relevant in today's world. The fact that somebody is this is a great example. This is a great example of creating a platform wherein you can jump and you can start running. So the fact that organizations like Shenzyn are trying to do this and trying to bring, if I can inspire even one of you today, I would be really happy. And I'm sure Shenzyn would be really happy if they can inspire one individual today with this webinar. So that is also a way, organizations are trying to help other women find their calling. We all have some or the other way, have been inspired by something or the other. So organizations are creating diverse platforms. They are creating programs to enable you to find your calling, but they are also creating finding people who can help you find your own calling. So and again, I'm truly thankful to Shenzyn for doing this, and to Khushbu and Murli and the team. And that's what I have to say about finding your calling, Ankita. And I hope that I answered your question.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And then I think really thanks to Shenzyn also to kind of, getting into organizing these things that, we can actually spend 1 hour where we are listening to things that we have to listen and keep reminding ourselves. Thank you for that.
Great. Thank you. All right. Do we have any more questions?
No, Parul, there's nothing in the chat box yet.
Okay. So Khushbu, is it time for us to wrap up?
We have 10 more minutes. I think we can wrap up in 10 minutes. We have.
Okay, great. So if there are, I'm all ears for any questions. And if there is, again, I would want people to share their own stories, because stories help. Stories are those little case studies. So please, I welcome you all. This is not only my stage. This is someday all of you are gonna be at stages like this, and I hope and pray and wish that happens. If again a little personal story, I was thinking that I would share, and so I can share if that's fine, Khushbu.
Again, I see a question in the chat window. So I could read this. How do we deal with corporate politics?
Okay, great question, Arvind. I guess you don't have to deal with it. First of all, people are different. So, when there are different people in a same group, when there are different kind of personalities, there would be times when things would not be aligned. So you don't have to deal with it, but you have to understand it. Okay. And you don't have to participate in it. You don't have to play it, but you have to understand it. If you feel that something has a political motive and is not well intended, it's not that you can win it by fighting it out. Sometimes winning also means by just accepting it. There are situations which you would not be able to change. So do not burn your energy in trying to fight things which are probably not going to ever change. So there are personalities, there are people have different motives, people have different calling. Sometimes they want to do funny things. Let them do their funny things. You don't get involved into their funny things. Let them do whatever they want to do. And so don't waste your energy in trying to deal with things. Just acknowledge it. Know that this is happening. Do not get, give a blind eye to it, that okay, well, no, don't be an ostrich that, oh, all would happen and all would get sorted on its own. You know that there is a problem on the route, you take a diversion. Sometimes you combat the problem, sometimes you fight it out. And with time, with your own experiences, you will have the wisdom that which are the problems you want to fight out and which are the problems you want to let go of, because your energy is important, your happiness is important, and not everything is going to be giving you happiness. I'm sure that there are instances when you fought something, but rather than feeling good, you felt miserable because that whole fighting drained you out of your absolute energy. So don't do that. You don't have to fight. So my one liner is, you don't have to fight politics, you don't have to deal with it. You just need to know it, that this is happening and this is what is happening, this is what it is happening to, and if it is you. And while I'm saying that you don't have to fight it or you don't have to deal with it, you also, as I said, that with time you would know that which are the ones which are worth fighting and which are the ones which are worth letting go of. So with time you would know how to strike a balance between your own energy and the energy that you spent in fighting an issue. Sometimes you fight it not only for yourselves, but you fight it for others. And that's how you empower. That's how you would get your power. That's how you would know your calling. That, okay, Arvind is made for doing this. Arvind is good at this. If you mess up something and if you mess this department up and you go to Arvind, he is not gonna be happy about it. So maybe that's your calling. So know that. And I hope I answered your question.
Personally, thank Arvind for getting this topic here, because somewhere we all juggle with politics around us, but we don't know how to deal with it. And thank you, Parul, for wonderfully answering that. I think we all had something to take away from this answer, at least from this answer. If there are
Thank you. I'm glad it made it made some difference.
Yes, if there are no more questions, we can wrap it up in a minute or two on the concluding lines, if you want to say anything.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I guess I definitely wanted to thank all of you at Team Shenzyn, and thank the audience for asking the questions that you asked. Sometimes when we tell these stories that we tell to others, we also hear them ourselves. So when I'm telling you, I'm also telling myself all of this. I'm also reminding myself of everything that I've just told you. So thank you for having me here. I truly enjoyed sharing my experiences, and I hope that it inspired you and it motivated you to some extent. And I'm just truly grateful for this experience. Thank you.